Good evening, everyone. I'm sure most of you deal with students on an everyday basis, so you may be familiar with what I'm about to play you. This is what the kids call EDM, or electronic dance music. Now, it's a far cry from the Zeppelins and the Beatles of the world, but ultimately, when you ask someone what does EDM mean, they'll probably respond with electronic dance music. But today, I want to introduce you to something that ETS is trying to rethink what EDM is, the ETS Data Manager. Well, what is the ETS Data Manager? It's an online portal that allows for faster, more efficient delivery of GRE and TOEFL score reports. It empowers the institutions to manage their score reporting roles and who has access to view scores. And it should reduce the back and forth communication between institutions and ETS. So the need for a GRE and TOEFL online score portal was apparent. Both of our competitors, the Pearson Test of English and the GMAT, both have their own online portals and beat us to the market. And a lot of the feedback we're receiving, and maybe you folks felt this as well, Andrea Armstrong from the University of Toronto said, we were surprised that ETS didn't already have this. Well, now we have this. This is the ETS Data Manager. It's a website. On the left-hand side is where you manage your access, and on the right-hand side is where you view the students' score reports. But before I dive into the nuts and bolts, I want to briefly explain the current score reporting options that are out there: paper, CD-ROM, and electronic email delivery. The amount of time it took for paper and CD reports was pretty significant. Once a test was graded, it would take about a week before those reports were even physically tangible, and then we had to mail them out. It would take a couple of days with domestic schools, take a couple of weeks if we were sending those scores overseas. For CD-ROMs, same thing. The ESR emails, they would get sent out the day after a score reporting run, so they work pretty quick. But the ETS Data Manager is actually the same day as the score reporting run, so it's a day quicker than even ESR emails. So let's take a look at what you would do. If you're reviewing a student's score report, there is the search criteria that's available to you. You can look up a student's name if you want to look up someone specific, or in this case what we're doing here is just looking up an entire date range, so all the scores are reported in the month of November. Eventually, when the search criteria is fulfilled, you get a roster view of all the students that you selected in your search criteria. And if you drill down into one of those score reports, you can see the actual score report. You've got their contact information on the left-hand side, and of course, most important is how their scores and how they did on the test. Two new features that are unique to the ETS Data Manager are a photo button and an essay button. So you can actually click either of those icons and get a photo of the test taker, or a complete summary of their response to the essay prompts. Now, for some people, they may not want to go onto an online website. They already have a system set up, it's automated, you get the scores, you put it through a database, and you have something else that you use to search for information. So we have a solution for that. If you want one of the older formats, like let's say you want paper copies to put in students' reports, you can print off these reports into a PDF. If you want them in the Excel format, like the CD-ROMs come in, you can export it to Excel. And if you like the data layout that comes with the PGP encryption software, you can actually download it into the scrolling format as well. So basically, all the old ways are available to you, but you also can look up students and get them in real time. In addition to all the enhanced score capabilities, another feature of the ETS Data Manager is that it provides some autonomy to the institutions. In the past, if someone wanted to gain access to student scores, they would have to send us a fax request saying this person should be the new score recipient. If it was paper and CD, you were only allowed one user at a time on that mail label. And for email users, you could only have up to 4 that could receive the score emails. With the ETS Data Manager, there is no limitations. You have an infinite amount of people that can access these scores. And more importantly, you can decide who does and doesn't get access. There's 2 different roles, a secondary and a lead admin user. The secondary users can view scores like we just did. Lead admin can do all of that, but it can also vet the requests that come in and make decisions on them. So this is what you would do instead of submitting a fax. It's an online application. We fill out your contact information, you identify what school you're with, and you submit a request. If there is no user associated with that school to begin with, then that information goes to ETS, we vet it like we normally would. But if there is a lead admin already associated with the school, then they can vet that information themselves and make a decision in real time. In the past, it would take 7 to 10 business days for us to act on an access request. If you're a lead admin at the school, you can do it in 5 minutes. The person sitting next to you and you know they are supposed to receive scores, then you can approve it and you're done and they're on and running. This is just a quick example of what a request queue looks like. If I'm the lead admin, you can view all the people that are currently requesting access as well as the people that do have access and change them if you need to. And this is just a drilled down version where you can get approve it and reject the access. Finally, another factor of the ETS Data Manager is that the telephone tag back and forth between you, the schools, and us, ETS, should be reduced. What do we always hear from students? Have you guys got my scores yet? Well, in the past, you have to contact our call center and figure out, well, have they gotten our scores? And per Carmen Brokel, supervisor with the TOEFL call center, about 3/4 of the calls are actually, that are regarding missing score delivery, are actually due to mailing delays, especially with the foreign colleges. So there was nothing wrong. It was just a matter of the score hadn't gotten there yet. And so it increases our call volumes and increases the amount of time that you're on the phone dealing with us when really there's no need to. Now with ETS Data Manager, if you know that a student has applied to your school and you don't see them, it means something's wrong with their account. They either have a hold because of some financial issue, they haven't made a payment, or what have you. So in addition to that, we have a direct contact information for the school. You no longer have to call the generic test center or call center and deal with an inquiry group that deals with test takers. This is specifically for institutions so that if for some reason you do need to get a hold of us with the ETS Data Manager inquiry, you can go directly to the source that deals with schools. So in summary, the ETS Data Manager allows for faster, more efficient delivery of GRE and TOEFL scores. It empowers institutions to manage their score reporting roles, and it reduces the back and forth communication between institutions and ETS. I know it probably won't have the same brand recognition when you think of the latest Skrillex song, but I hope that the next time someone asks you, well, what is EDM, you can reply with, it's